welcome to a fun, fabulous video. And here's the thing. I have read all of Riley Sager's backlist, and he's definitely one of my favorite authors. And today we're going to be going over my ranking. And I feel like my ranking of these books is kind of controversial. I feel like not a lot of people would agree with my ranking, and that's the thing is, I don't really care. This is how I feel. This is what I think. I want you, if you've read all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of his thriller books, to let me know down below what your ranking would be. These are in literally no option. We're going to go over all of them and what they are about. Here we have his newest novel. I do have a signed copy, which is pretty cool. And this is his newest novel, and this is I think the first one where the main character is a male, I believe. What is his name? Ethan. This is about our boy named Ethan, and essentially he has moved away from his childhood home in his childhood town because when he was a kid, his best friend was kidnapped out of the same tent that they were sharing. His parents die. He goes back there, and some weird stuff starts happening in the middle of the night. So that's this one. This is also a signed copy that I have, you know. Pretty cool, pretty cool. This is the only one left, and this is about our main character named Kit. And Kit gets this job caring for this old lady named Lenora, and Lenora is like thought to have killed her entire family. She no longer can speak. There was like this horrible tragedy that happens, and she hasn't spoke since. And she's now like wheelchair bound and can't move besides one hand, and Lenora starts trying to communicate to Kit through a typewriter and tell her what happened, to tell her story. This is The House Across the Lake. This was the first Riley Sager book that I read. This is about a girl named Casey, and she works in like the Broadway industry, and she's kind of like struggling with alcohol, and she's going to go live in their family's like cabin at the lake. And across the lake is this like rich fancy house, and you can see in the windows, literally it's like this bright, you can see what's going on. She thinks she sees some suspicious activity, and then the wife goes missing. This is about that. We have got Survive the Night. This one is about a girl named Charlie, and quite a few people from her college campus start going missing and end up murdered, and she is desperately trying to get home, and she has no ride. Her boyfriend can't take her for a couple of days, so she takes a ride with a stranger that could very well be the person who has been kidnapping these people, and that's this one. We've got Final Girls. This is about Quincy, and Quincy is a final girl of a mass murder, and there are these two other gals, Sam and Lisa, and they are also final girls, and through like the shared trauma, they form a friendship until Lisa, one of the final girls, ends up dead, and then that drives Sam and Quincy together to try to figure out what happened. We've got The Last Time I Lied. I hate this, like, I hate books that have this. It drives me nuts. This is about a group of friends, Vivian, Natalie, and Allison and Emma. And the main character of this one is Emma, and one night, all of the three others besides Emma go missing. And Emma is now a painter, and she is invited back to the camp that she hasn't been to in a bajillion years to help reopen it. And some spooky things start happening. We have Lock Every Door. This one is about Jules, and she's like poor, about to lose her house, and she ends up moving into like this prestigious house at the Bartholomew in Manhattan, and weird creepy things start happening in the apartment. And then we have Home Before Dark, which this is about Maggie, and her family lives in this house in Vermont until one night they fled in the middle of the night because some spooky things have happened. Her dad has passed away now, and he made a lot of money like selling books about what happened, and she moves back into the house, and it's spooky time. So those are all of the books. Drop below what you think my rating's gonna be. Did you drop it? Did you tell me? We're gonna start with my least favorite of the group, and that is Final Girls. This was Riley Sager's first thriller, and I feel like it feels like a first thriller. This one's the least memorable to me. I found myself checking my phone a lot in between them. It just wasn't super engaging or super scary. Yeah, it just wasn't the best for me. I would honestly not even really recommend this one. So for that, it was just okay. My next least favorite is this one. We're going bottom to top. So in 7th place, we have got Survive the Night. Again, this one was just okay. I did not really see the twists and turns coming, but it wasn't super gripping. I found the beginning of this book to be extraordinarily boring, and because of that, it has to be in 7th place. In 6th place, before we get to the top 5, because the top 5, in my opinion, you gotta read them all. So the only other one that I'm not obsessed with is The House Across the Lake, and I feel like this is very controversial. I feel like everybody super duper loves The House Across the Lake. For me, I did not really like this. This was my first Riley Sager and probably one of the first thrillers that I ever read, and I thought I hated his writing until I read what my number 1 is, which we'll get there when we get there. It was just like fine. It was not, the twists in this didn't feel like, I don't want to give anything away, but like they didn't feel like they fit with the story in my opinion. So for that, I did not super love that one. Then in 5th place, we've got The Middle of the Night, which is the newest novel. I did not find this one to be very thrilling. It was more of a mystery, but it tugged at your heartstring. I cried. I cried during a Riley Sager thriller. That is weird. That doesn't happen. But that does lead me to put this one in 4th place because it evoked a lot of emotion out of me, and I feel like if a book does that, it was pretty good. If it can make you cry, it was pretty good. So there's that one. So number 4 will be Lock Every Door. This is my favorite cover. I love the pink. This one was pretty good. It left me spooked, but there was just like some bits here and there that didn't feel necessary and weren't like my favorite, and some of the twists were absolutely out of this world, which like is the point with his books, but this will get number 4. Number 3 is going to be Home Before Dark. This book took me longer than it should have to read because I was scared. Haunted house things really spook me, and so I would read a couple of chapters and I would look over at my husband and be like, I gotta go to bed. I'm really scared. But yeah, because this one like actually made me scared, it has to be number 3. The top 2, you can kind of narrow it down. You'll know my number 1 when you see my number 2. Number 2 is going to be The Last Time I Lied, and I absolutely love this. I distinctly remember reading this on a train when I was on vacation, and it was so good, so gripping. That train ride flew right by reading this bad boy. The twists in this were shocking. Didn't see it coming from 8,000, like I didn't see it coming from a mile away. I didn't see it coming from an inch away. When it happened, I was like, what do you mean? That's where we're going? What do you mean? And with that, craziness. And my number 1 is going to be the only one left, and I feel like you either love or hate this book. I have seen so many people hate it, so many people love it. I understand that at the end they throw, my sister didn't like it, that they throw about 875,000 twists at you in like this many pages pretty much. And I get that that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I thought that I didn't like Riley Sager. I thought that I hated his books and hated his writing. And then I read this and I was like, oh, let me go down the backlog. I got to read them all. Because it was so good. I loved it. There are a bunch of crazy, wild twists, a bunch going on just all at once. But I did not see it coming. This one also genuinely spooked me. And yeah, that is my definitive rating of Mr. Riley Sager's books. Let me know, what is your order in which you like them? Here is mine. I will pull them up top to bottom so that if you want to read my favorites, see this is like also the order I obviously would recommend them, but here they all are. And yeah, let me know if you've read Riley Sager, what you think, which ones you like, which ones you don't like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!